At the time of this recording, it's been about over a week since Power Rangers Cosmic Fury aired on Netflix, and I gotta talk about it. Obviously, spoilers, so if you haven't watched Cosmic Fury or haven't finished it, go finish it, go watch it, then come back and check out the review. Also, make sure you're subscribed to the channel because a lot of you who are watching aren't subscribed, so what you waiting for? Go do it. It's free. We cool. Power Rangers Cosmic Fury, the 30th season of Power Rangers, and what it looks like to be the last season of this continuity era of Power Rangers, I guess. Which I still can't really wrap my head around because it's like every year you just get Power Rangers. It's just, it's just been a thing. So, I don't know. It'll hit me eventually. Power Rangers Cosmic Fury is a 10-episode season. It is the shortest season of all seasons of Power Rangers, and it tells a cohesive story. Every episode leads into the next. There are no filler episodes, so it's just one giant adventure, one long movie, it feels like. First up, I want to talk about the overall concept or idea of Power Rangers Cosmic Fury. And the first thing I want to hit is something that I just want to get out of the way really, really quickly, and that is the usage or lack of usage of the Q Ranger suits. Now, how I see it, Power Rangers Cosmic Fury is not an adaptation of Q Ranger. Cosmic Fury only uses the Q Ranger mech. Yeah, there's some villains here and there, whatnot, but for the most part, it's just the mech, not the suits. Kind of along the same lines as MMPR Season 2, but I don't think anyone's calling Mighty Morphin Season 2 an adaptation of Die Ranger. Unless people are, then I don't know. I think that's just weird. Listen, I like the Q Ranger suits. I think they're really, really cool. Do I think they're the best Sentai suits ever? No, because Magi Ranger exists, and we have Mystic Force, so it's okay. But I don't think the Q Ranger suits are necessarily worth all the fuss about, And this will lead us into the Cosmic Fury suits themselves. Now, I don't necessarily hate the Cosmic Fury suits. I hate other things like pineapple on pizza. That's a no-no. Are they the worst suits in Power Rangers? Maybe, but again, I don't hate them, and I've made my peace with them not using Q Ranger suits. It's fine. It's okay. Power Rangers and Sentai, they're two different shows. They're gonna use different stuff. It's okay. It's okay. You're gonna be okay. Q Ranger is still there. You could go watch Q Ranger. It's fine. Another thing a lot of people have been debating about is the morph. And the biggest complaint here is that it's too long. And there's been plenty of other morphs that have been pretty long too. I think the fact is, I think people are getting confused with a long morph with slow motion morphs, because the Cosmic Fury morph definitely has like that slow motion feel to it, which I guess will make it feel long. Like, you could definitely make that argument like, oh, it feels too slow. Okay, fine. Yeah, it feels too slow. Okay, sure. I personally love it. I think it's one of the best I think it's one of the best morphs personally. I love that, they flip and they do the whatever this thing is, and then they get the uniform on, and then they like, that's sick, that's cool. And even like before that, when they have like the cosmic orbs and they do the spinny thing, and then they do the flicky, and then they that's cool. I don't know, people on Twitter just don't like fun. Also, the music for the morph is phenomenal. Actually, all the music in Cosmic Fury, and even in Dino Fury too, really, really great. I forget the name of the composer of the music for these seasons, but they did a really, really good job. The theme song is bangin'. I love it. The BGM, like I said, the morph music, everything. I love the synth thing that they got going on. It's very like mythical and yet science-y, and it definitely matches the tone of what they're going for with Cosmic Fury and Dino Fury. Definitely got that sciencey yet mystical kind of feel to it. And the overall tone of Cosmic Fury was Very similar to Once and Always, which I loved. I love that. I love that it's still, kid friendly. It's still, very, funny at, when it has to be, very cheesy when it has to be. But there's those serious moments. They said words like die. I think they said die or kill. They said one of those words. And I think that's a perfect tone for Power Rangers. I think Power Rangers should just stay like that, in my opinion. It should be like that campy cheesiness that it still has and still go for like the more darker, more mature themes to it. With the reboot, that's probably not gonna happen, but we'll get there when we get there. If we get there. And last thing before I talk about the story, the overall story of Cosmic Fury, I do want to talk about like the fight scenes. They were okay. I mean, they weren't like the best fight scenes I've ever seen. There were some moments that stood out to me. Ion blasting that one Zyuohger monster. I don't remember what her name was in Cosmic Fury or even in Zyuohger actually. He blasts her and she does like a spin thing in the air and blows up. So there's some like cool moments, but overall, like it wasn't like anything too special. Now let's get into the story. I'm gonna try to speed run this because there's a lot happens in these 10 episodes of Cosmic Fury, and it's a wild time. We're gonna try to go through it. I'm not gonna go into super huge detail because I do want to do episode reviews of each episode eventually, so that will happen sometime in the future. But for now, let's just go through the story. Lord Zed has escaped the prison that the Morphin Masters kept him in, and it was all thanks to Bajillionaire, the CEO of Squid Ink Inc. The first episode hits the ground running on planet Zordnia, with all the Rangers already morphed, with Billy and Mick there too. We are also introduced to Squealia, Bajilia's daughter, and the Sentinels, and of course Scrozzle's here too. The Morphin Masters are captured by the Master Captivator. Ollie is turned evil and Zato gets lost on planet Levina. Javi is given Master Red's staff, which shows him the Altar of Zordnia, which is the key to unlocking the mythical Cosmic Fury Zords. Javi is able to unlock said Zords, but at a price. Back on Earth, Javi gets a new arm, which he has to get used to. Lord Zed finds Dinohenge and destroys the dinosaur statues minus Triceratops. The Rangers are forced to teleport their entire base to planet Eridus, taking not only Billy, but also Fern with them. Zed's forces have taken over Earth and are throwing people and other Power Rangers in jail. By episode 3, Billy builds the Cosmic Fury Morphers, which 4 of the Rangers use to become the Cosmic Fury Rangers. Scrozzle makes Ollie an evil Ranger suit, Ion finds Zato, Zato becomes the Zenith Ranger, he finds the Dragon Zord, and Fern becomes the Orange Ranger. Heckle infiltrates Bajilia's forces as a spy for the Resistance, and reveals himself as the Dino-Charged Dark Ranger. The Rangers leave Eridus in their base, which is now a spaceship, in hopes of taking down a force field that is causing all Zords on Earth not to work. Their plan doesn't work, but they are able to free everyone from Zed's jail and capture Squealia. Everyone finds out that Zato will return to the grid once he uses up all the magic that the Morphin Masters used to revive him. Ion runs into Mucus and Slither, who agree to help out the Rangers by sneaking onto Zed's base on planet Eltar and blowing up the Tricera statue. By doing so, Ollie returns to normal and is rescued by his team. He tells the Rangers that Zed is planning to become his own Morphin Master with the energy of all the Morphin Masters that were captured. With Zed's base about to blow up, Zato uses the last of his magic to save his team, causing him to go back to the grid, with Ion's spirit not letting go. Ion speaks to an all too familiar force while in the grid. Well, familiar for us, but not familiar to him. Ollie uses Zato's Morpher to become the Cosmic Fury Blue Ranger, and the Rangers fight Master Zed, who destroys the Cosmic Fury Zords very easily. However, Bajilia and Scrozzle capture Zed with the Master Captivator and plan to unleash Z-Wave number 2, which will wipe out all good in the universe. Oh, and there's this really cool retro Megazord battle in space. It's really awesome. The Master Captivator is about to burst, so the Rangers have a plan to go to the Altar of Zornia to access the grid and put the Master Captivator there to blow up, which will cause a disruption in the grid. Bajilia is destroyed by the Rangers' Cosmic Blaster. Morphin Master Zato stops them and sends himself and the team inside the Master Captivator. Zato convinces Zed to let go of the Morphin Master powers to live. On planet Nibiru, Zed is living his true nightmare, a life with Rita Repulsa. Zato goes back to the grid with the now freed Morphin Masters, Billy realizes that Zordon is still out there. The Rangers have one last hurrah as Javi's band plays a new song with the lyrics, "May the power protect you." Zeta watches his friends and ends it off with his iconic line,
"Cool, cool, coolio."
And that's the gist of it. Yeah, it's a lot, and there's still more to dive into. I definitely want to dive into each episode, which I will do in episode reviews, so make sure you're subscribed to the channel. And now I want to get into some of the characters. I'm not going to be able to talk about every single character. I'm going to be talking about the ones that are, the most relevant, the ones that, do the most, I guess. And I'm also going to be talking about specific plot points, character development, and certain scenes that have to do with these characters. First up, I'll talk about the villains. We got Bajilia and Squillionaire. I love their names. Perfect names. I love the punniness of them. Really cool that we got original characters as main villains. I mean, of course, it's not the first time, but it's still nice. I really like the mother and daughter duo that they got going on. Bajilia being a CEO, I think, is a nice touch, especially with the contrast of her daughter, Squillia, who's very self-obsessive and spoiled and, kind of like your tropey teenager. I love it. When the first episode aired, I was like, oh yeah, these people, they're going to betray Zed. But then as the story progressed, as the episodes went on, I was like, oh, maybe Bajilia is like on Zed's side. But then towards the end of the season, when it was revealed that she was going to betray Zed and everything, I was like, oh, okay. It was a pleasant surprise. I'm not gonna lie, it kind of threw me off a little bit. So they played that perfectly. And speaking of Lord Zed, we gotta talk about this boy, because wow, he did, this was phenomenal. I love Lord Zed in this. I think this is my favorite iteration of Lord Zed ever. And not, voice aside and everything, of course, Robert Axelrod, rest in peace. He is the voice of Lord Zed. No one can really replace him. But I'm sorry, I don't remember the name of Cosmic Fury's Lord Zed. But he did a great job too. He did, he got pretty close, to what Robert Axelrod did. So yeah, I have no complaints about the voice whatsoever. But he did a phenomenal job. He had some of the most hilarious lines talking about how he was just confused and old sometimes, especially when he was talking to Squillia and everything. Really interesting that he had a mentor dynamic with Ollie, of all people. Never would have thought that would happen, but that mentorship and student kind of relationship that they had going on, really, really interesting. I loved it. And it almost reminded me of back when Tommy, the Green Ranger, was evil and he was under Rita's spell. Kind of a callback to that, I think. Now, I know there's a whole debate about, when did this Lord Zed come from? What time period did this Lord Zed come from? Because supposedly this is when Lord Zed was at his most evil, right? I believe that's what it is. But of course he knows, or he is married to Rita. The timeline, I think, was fudged a little bit, and I think Simon Bennett did mention that, which is fine. I don't really care. But this Lord Zed is evil. He's evil. Lord Zed back in the day didn't do as much as Lord Zed is doing now. I don't think. I don't know. It's been a hot second since I've watched Mighty Morphin, so correct me if I'm wrong. But I'm pretty sure, it feels like the Lord Zed now in Cosmic Fury is, more evil than ever. And he's got, all this convoluted, planning going on and stuff. I don't know. I think it's good stuff. The Master Zed suit is phenomenal. Going into this, I had no idea that thing existed. So I'm glad I was able to escape that spoiler, because that was a very, very, very nice surprise. And it's a beautiful suit. He couldn't fight in it because, look at that thing. Can you fight in that thing? It's too beautiful of a suit to fight in. I think that thing would break for sure. But wow, it was designed by whoever does the designing on Cosmic Fury / Dino Fury, but it was built by Toei. So Toei was the one that actually made the suit, which I think is pretty cool. And I think they did that with some other suits as well. And speaking of not being able to fight, I know there's another debate about the whole thing with how there's no final battle really between Lord Zed and the Rangers. At first, I was kind of like thrown off too. I was like, oh, okay, so this is how they're doing it. Okay. But then after rewatching it, I was like, okay, you know what? No, this is perfect. This is a good way to send it off because, well, one, for starters, it kind of reminded me of Shattered Grid. If you remember in Shattered Grid, there was no really final battle between the Mighty Morphin Rangers and Draken. They talked to Draken. Like, that's how they ended that whole, saga. So same thing here too, and I thought that was great. I thought it played out perfectly because it really showed, Zeto's, cunning nature and everything, showing that even beings like Lord Zed could have the potential to be good as well, Things like that. Love that stuff. Now let's get into some of the allies, and I'm not going to be talking about all of the allies, like the parents and everything, but I will talk about one parent, and that is Tarek. And really all I want to say about him is that his actor did a great job. Definitely one of the better, if not the best actor on this show. His fight with Wiseau, even though it was very brief, I thought it was played perfectly. He did a great job with that. And just his line delivery too was really, really good. Next we got Mucus and Slither, and I wasn't like the biggest fan of them. Not that I hated them or anything, not that I disliked them or anything. They were just kind of there for me. But it was nice to see them be on the good side. And their relationship was, I don't know, I thought it was kind of cute. I was like, oh, they're very good friends, and seeing them float off into space, I don't know, it was nice. It gave me a really warm feeling for some reason. I don't know, maybe because of just their relationship and, how they pretty much helped the Rangers save the world. And it was nice to see them at the very last scene. They were like at the concert doing the lighting and everything. So that was nice to see them. Now let's get into the Rangers. We're not going to get into the main Cosmic Fury Rangers yet. We got some other Rangers that did show up in Cosmic Fury though. And first up, we're going to talk about Heckle, the Dino Charge Dark Ranger. Finally, he's the Dark Ranger. Now, back in Dino Charge, apparently, I think Simon Bennett said that they couldn't get the suit for whatever reason. It just wasn't available to them. It's just really nice to see him in the Dark Ranger suit, and it's just interesting because the helmet isn't the same helmet as that whole thing. The helmet's not the same thing. It's the Kyoryu Navy helmet with the Death Ryuger suit. It still works. I thought it still works. It's fine. It's a interesting accidental kit bash. Never would have thought that there would be something like that on Power Rangers. Really cool for him to be a spy, put in that spy and Spinosaurus. Really interesting that he was a crush / boyfriend of Squealia. Because at one point she was saying that's her crush, and then at another point they were kind of insinuating that they were actually boyfriend girlfriend. I don't know. Their relationship was really complicated, I guess. Other than the spy and Spinosaurus one-liner, he had some other good one-liners, specifically that insult. What was it?
You want to know what having friends is like? My God, that is brutal.
Dang, dude. That's the quote that everyone's talking about. And I want to know more backstory for sure. I definitely want to know more backstory. How exactly was he able to become the Dark Ranger? I know there's a whole comics thing, but the show doesn't really follow the comics though. That's what Simon Bennett said himself too. So I'd like to get more backstory on that, maybe in a future special or something. That would never happen, but hey, whatever, you can dream. Because the last time we saw Heckle in the show was in Dino Supercharged, the last episode, where he became a keeper to go get the Dark Energem or something to stop his homeworld from being destroyed, Sentai 6 from being destroyed. It was something like that. I don't remember exactly, but maybe he went back in time to Sentai 6 and protected the Dark Energem or something like that. That's pretty cool. We got Mechanic as Ninja Steel Red Ranger, and it's always good to see Kendall Henderson back in Power Rangers. I will never complain when Kendall Henderson is in Power Rangers, honestly. He always does a fantastic job. His acting is always great. He's a funny guy. Very likable. I wish I could meet him someday in person. He could be the entire cast of a Power Ranger season and I wouldn't even complain, honestly. He's really, really good. And it was really, really nice to see him back as Ninja Steel Red. That's awesome. He really deserved to be a Power Ranger, honestly. So really good to see Mick as the Red Ranger. It would have been nice to see more fight scenes. Like, we didn't really get fight scenes with him. Simon Bennett did say that they did film a lot of fight scenes, but they just didn't make the cut. They just couldn't add it in, unfortunately. Would be nice to see that footage eventually, but anyways, it's still nice to see Mechanic as Ninja Steel Red. Interesting that he and Billy were traveling in space together. Like, how did that happen? That's another thing I want to know. Like, how did they meet? What planet did they meet on? Was it on Zornia? Have they been traveling together for quite some time? I mean, of course, Mechanic wasn't in Once and Always, so maybe they met sometime in between Once and Always and Cosmic Fury, or maybe they'd known each other for a while. Who knows? I'd like to know. And speaking of Billy, we gotta talk about him. Come on, Billy, Mighty Morphin Blue, original Blue Ranger. Definitely awesome to have him back. I think he was the perfect Mighty Morphin Ranger to be back for the 30th season of Power Rangers as a mentor. And he did a great job. David Yost did a great job with being that mentor type of character. Billy had some great dynamics, especially with characters like Javi and Amelia. I like that he was calling Amelia by her last name, Jones. I don't know, I thought that was like a nice little touch, but yeah, he kind of just talked to her as the leader of the Cosmic Fury Rangers. There was that one scene where he was saying, like, listen, like, if you go and get Ollie now, you'll be the only ones out there. You can wait until the rest of the Rangers can help you. But, she was like, no, this is what our team needs to do. Just like, your team has to go and protect the Earth, pretty much. And he's like, all right, I get it. So I like that dynamic a lot. He was also a really good mentor to Javi, like I said, especially with, him losing his arm, coping with the fact that he lost his arm and that he has to get used to this new metal arm. Those made some really good interactions between the two Rangers, especially when Javi was trying to play his guitar and broke all of his strings, and Billy was like, all right, listen, I'm gonna put the strings on for you, you tell me when it's in tune. So they're kind of like learning from each other, which is really, really cool. And speaking of learning something, it's really interesting because Billy is, he's a smart guy, he knows everything. He knows all the answers to everything, and he's always known the answers to everything. But when he finds out that Zordon is still out there, that definitely just opened his eyes to something new. So I think that was really cool to have Billy's arc end off on him learning something new. I think that's just really, really cool. Kind of shows that, doesn't matter who you are, you can always learn something new. Now let's get into the Cosmic Fury team. First up, we got our first ever Orange Ranger, Fern. Yes, finally an Orange Ranger. I know there's like the Cat Ranger from SPD, but I mean, is she an Orange Ranger? I don't know, who knows. Whatever, I'm gonna say Fern's the first ever Orange Ranger, and it's a female. That's pretty cool. I like how this made the team more balanced in terms of like male and female. Of course, it's not like perfectly even, but definitely more balanced than most teams, especially teams like Q Ranger. It was nice to see more of Fern. Like, we definitely got more character stuff from her in Cosmic Fury than pretty much all of Dino Fury, I would say. Not that she was ever a bad character by any means or anything, but it's just nice to have her get more focus. She's definitely more of the go-getter type, just like her girlfriend Izzy. It was great the way that she got her Orange Ranger powers. I thought that was fantastic. She saved Solon from the Scuttle Worm. And I don't know, I think that played out perfectly. And the fact that she has the powers of the Solanosaurus, which is that even a real dinosaur? I don't even know. I don't care if her helmet is a repaint / slight retool of the Red Ranger helmet. Do you not remember seeing that a lot in Sentai and Rider? I mean, come on. Power Rangers does it once and it's like a big deal. Like, come on, y'all. But anyways, whatever. Fern is cool. I like Fern a lot. And I like Izzy a lot too, you know? And it was really cool to see Izzy, almost like a different side of Izzy, actually. She was more of like a very overprotective girlfriend to Fern. Kind of a side of her that we didn't really see a whole lot of, I feel like, in Dino Fury. Okay, let's talk about her brother because he went through some stuff. Javi, the Black Ranger, straight up loses his arm, which I never would have thought would happen to Power Rangers. I get Netflix, right? I get it's Netflix, but it's still Power Rangers. Like, even breaking something would be too much for Power Rangers, I feel like. The last time someone broke something that I can remember, at least, was Rocky in the Turbo movie. He broke his back. But that was a movie. So I don't think anyone's really broken anything. I mean, maybe people have had casts and everything, but you never really see someone's arm break, let alone get chopped off. Not that we really saw Javi's arm get chopped off, but his arm wasn't there. There's that whole thing where the cast wasn't allowed to really be visibly upset, more of like, oh, it's going to be okay kind of deal. So I know some people were saying, why aren't they freaking out more? It's because they just couldn't. So of course the natural response, like if I lost my arm, I'd be crying. I'd be like, that's the natural response, right? So but I get it. On TV you don't want to show that, especially on a kid's show. So still really they took a chance with that, though. They really did take a chance with that, but man, that was played out perfectly when Javi was about to go put the Morphin Master staff into the altar of Zordnia. I was like, oh man, it's gonna happen here, isn't it? Oh no. But the whole thing with him, coping and struggling to use his new robotic arm, that whole thing, that was real stuff. And I like the metal arm on the Dino Fury suit too. At one point he had it on his Black Ranger Dino Fury suit, which is pretty dope. It definitely made it stand out more, and of course the Cosmic Fury suit too, a lot more. I think having that metal arm made it one of my favorite Cosmic Fury suits. He just had to lose an arm in order for me to say that, I guess. And the song at the end, the May the Power Protect You song, or whatever it's called, I don't know what it's called. May the power protect you. I love that song. It definitely gave me almost like a 90s vibe. Like, I feel like that's something that I would hear in like the old Mighty Morphin movie. Like, I feel like that would fit really well with just the 90s Power Rangers aesthetic. I don't know. Maybe that's just me. I don't know. You let me know. But that's the impression that I got. So I thought that was a perfect song to end off the season and the series as a whole with. And I need that song to be released immediately. Hasbro, Power Rangers, get on that. Now we got Ollie, the evil Blue Ranger, and the Blue Ranger. But yeah, man, I didn't think he was going to be evil for that long. Legit, I did not know. Like, when we first got leaks that he was going to be evil again, it's like, oh, again? How are we going to do this time? It was played out perfectly. I thought it was perfect. I didn't know that they were going to go that route, have the poison affect him again, but it's like a higher dosage, and that poison only affects that certain ranger, which makes sense as to the cure. The cure made a lot of sense in that sense. And it was interesting because Simon Bennett also said that the actor might not have been able to come back for Cosmic Fury, so they had to write it in a way that Kai Moya, I believe is what his name is, he would just be in the States doing ADR for in-suit scenes. Luckily, he was able to come back for Cosmic Fury. I think that's just more effective that way, instead of just having an in-suit only character. And he did a good job as being an evil ranger. I think he had a lot of fun doing it. Definitely saw some parallels between this evil ranger and the evil green ranger we got back in Mighty Morphin. And it's interesting because we never saw all 7 Cosmic Fury Rangers together. Like, never. Ollie uses Zato's morpher to become the Blue Ranger. So, oh, also that evil ranger suit is dope. And the recolored Dino Fury morpher and the recolored Chroma Fury Saber. Premium Bandai. Come on, where you at? Premium Bandai. Oh man. Premium Hasbro? HasLab? HasLab? Yeah, right. We gotta get at least a figure of the evil Blue Ranger suit. I know they're like apparently they're only doing 3 Cosmic Fury Rangers figures, which I think is dumb. They gotta give us a whole team. They gotta give us a whole team. Man, if this was Bandai, they'd be doing all these. Oh man, Bandai. I miss Bandai sometimes. I really do. Listen, Hasbro has done a lot of cool stuff, but Bandai at least released toys. Next is Ion. He had some of the best character development. He had some of the best character stuff. He had to deal with the loss of his best friend twice. Once in Dino Fury and again in Cosmic Fury. Actually, I mean, if you want to count twice in Cosmic Fury, technically, if you want to go that route, since Zato was lost in Levina, in space, you know, they didn't know what planet he was at the time. And then, you know, again, at the end of Cosmic Fury, when he becomes a Morphin Master, man, he had to go through a lot emotionally. And it got to the point where even his spirit left his body in order to still be with Zato. That's insane. He also got to talk to Zordon, even though he didn't know it. But he got to talk to Zordon. He's a really important ranger. I mean, according to the Green Morphin Master, you know, he was very essential to stopping Lord Zed. And he's the one that got to talk to Zordon, so he's an important one. Also, super funny moments from him. I mean, his actor is just hilarious. Especially when he gets hit by the tree twice. And we got to talk about Zato, the GOAT. He is such a GOAT. Now, I'm only going to be talking about Zato as a character as it was written in Cosmic Fury, in Power Rangers, in the continuity of Power Rangers. I'm not going to be talking about, you know, anything else other than that. If you want more context as to what I'm talking about, I suggest you listen to the voices of black people in the Toku community. Do I think Zato got sidelined? Yes, he did get sidelined. However, that doesn't necessarily mean that I don't like his story or that I don't like the direction that his character went in. I actually like it a lot. Purely from a writing standpoint. He had a really, really interesting story. He had a really interesting progression and development. Going from Ranger to Morphin Master God status. I thought that was really, really interesting. No other Ranger has hit Morphin Master God level status. And I really, really like the name Zenith Ranger. I think that's really cool. I really like the color too. The helmet is really cool. Love his cape. Also with the Morphin Master staff. Perfect touch. Just overall, I like just the Zenith Ranger look and how it sounds and everything. I think it's really cool.
Slick color, dude.
And I guess we're calling the Ghost Ranger the Dino Fury Zenith Ranger too, because in Cosmic Fury, Zato does say,
It's what the Morphin Masters called me when they brought me back.
I'm cool with that. He had the struggle of asking Ion and Solon, the 2 people that he's known the longest, to keep a secret that he was going to go back to the morphing grid, just for the sake of his team and for the sake of their mission to save the universe. That's what makes Zato literally one of the greatest Rangers of all time, in my opinion. Not because of like his god status. I mean, literally he is one of, or the most powerful Ranger there is now because of his god status. It's because of his personality, his courage, his leadership, his heart, you know, all of that. He is really the embodiment of what it is to be a Power Ranger. Like, he's hands down one of the greatest Rangers, if not the greatest Ranger of all time. Yeah, I said it. He understood that the Morphin Masters brought him back to save the universe. So, yeah. What a goat. What a goat. You know, in the future, I would like to see some sort of like special or something, like a Cosmic Fury 10 years after or something. I don't know. Once and always Cosmic Fury version, you know? I would like to see something where like he comes back as a Morphin Master, but he kind of has forgotten his friends, which would be really dark, I know, but like if you think about Zordon in Cosmic Fury when he was talking to Ion, it seemed like that Zordon kind of forgot his past. Like he was saying things like Rangers, Zed, those are familiar to me. Like he couldn't quite put his finger on it. Like he recognized those words, but he didn't fully remember what those words meant. And the fact that he said, "There's something I used to say in times like these."
May the power protect you.
Oh yeah, I said that once or twice before. You know? So maybe when you're in the grid, you slowly forget your past, and I think that would be something interesting to explore if, you know, they did something like a, you know, a Cosmic Fury or Dino Fury special in the future or something, or some sort of Power Rangers special in the future, or maybe explore it in the comics or something. Because, I mean, like, do the Morphin Masters remember their past? You know, before they became Morphin Masters? Who are the Morphin Masters? Were they also past Rangers? And last but certainly not least, we have Amelia, our first ever full-time female Red Ranger. I have to make that clear because if I just say female Red Ranger, people are going to be like, well, what about Lauren? Y'all know what I mean, yo? She's the first full-time female Red Ranger. Yo, come on. I love the scene when she realizes she's become the Red Ranger. She's like at first like, oh, maybe my visor's making this pink look more like a reddish or like a dark pink color. That's weird. Let me take off my helmet. Oh, it's still red. What? Why am I the Red Ranger? Zato's the Red Ranger. And she has like the utmost respect for Zato too in that scene. Like, I love that. She's like, but Zato's our Red Ranger. Like, I'm not red. Like, I thought that was really, really well played. I like the little hip movement she does when she when she morphs too. I feel like that was something that was improvised. I like it. It's cool. And I know a lot of people are like, well, why didn't they make Izzy the Red Ranger and blah, blah, blah. Honestly, like, Amelia really stepped up to the plate, especially, you know, when they were 2 Rangers down, you know, Ollie became evil and Zato was lost in space. Amelia was really the one to step up and lead the team. I feel like I should talk about her and Ollie as a couple, but there just wasn't much to it other than she just wanted to save her boyfriend, honestly. So I wish there could have been more of that, but he was evil for, you know, most of the most of the season anyway. So you know, it is what it is. Now finally, time for my overall thoughts on Cosmic Fury. Man, I love this season. It was so good. However, you can definitely tell that they were rushed, and it's very unfortunate that Hasbro just doesn't give them the time, the money, the resources to make this season even better than it was. But as far as like eras go, like things like the Dragon Zord. At one point, the Rangers called it the Cosmic Dragon Megazord, but then at another point, they were saying the Dragon Fury Megazord. So there is an inconsistency there. And then one of the times that they said it was a Cosmic Dragon Megazord, it wasn't even in Megazord form. So yeah, there were just mistakes like that. And then also you can tell with some of the actors when they were delivering lines, they were trying to remember their lines. And there were some like awkward pauses within the line. They probably just did like 1 or 2 takes and they're like, okay, let's move on to the next one. Because, you know, there just wasn't enough time for them to get, you know, a perfect line out, which is really unfortunate. Hasbro, come on, what are y'all doing? Some of my favorite moments in Cosmic Fury though, definitely 100% that Megazord battle. Oh my gosh. When I saw the Galaxy Megazord on there, I was like, I did not expect that. If I knew there was a retro Megazord battle in this before even watching Cosmic Fury, I wouldn't have expected the Galaxy Megazord. But the fact that, 1, I didn't know that there was a Megazord battle in this, and 2, that the Galaxy Megazord was one of the Megazords in this Megazord battle? Yo, hey. Let's go, man. I'm down. I'm here for it. And of course, another one of my favorite moments is Zordon. Like that made my jaw drop. Like I was like, no way. That is that Zordon? Is that actually Zordon? Man, like Zato's actor, Russell Curry, he played that so well. It wasn't like obvious that it was Zordon at first. I didn't know it was Zordon at first until when he said,
May the power protect you.
when he was talking to Ion, that's when I was like, oh yeah, that's Zordon. And a lot of people didn't catch on, apparently. Like, do y'all watch Power Rangers? Like, I gotta say, the Dino Fury / Cosmic Fury team is one of the most important teams of all Power Rangers. Like, straight up. They just are. Legit. And of course, I gotta talk about that final scene. I always find myself rewatching that scene over and over again because of, like, it's just so good. I love the song. Not only just Javi's song, but the song after that plays, like that background music that plays after Zato says "cool, cool, coolio." So good. It really just it got to me right here. And it was a perfect ending for Power Rangers Dino Fury / Cosmic Fury. Now, is it the perfect ending for Power Rangers as a whole? Yes, it was. I'm going to say it was. I'm going to be the first person on the internet to say yes, it was the perfect Power Rangers ending. Like, okay, I understand, like, it was supposed to be a Cosmic Fury / Dino Fury ending before a Power Rangers series ending, because I think at that point it wasn't really 100% sure that that was going to be the end. But if that is the end of the Power Rangers series, hey, I'm here for it. I'm down. I think it was good. I think it was great. I think it was perfect. So this season, 10 out of 10. I don't care. I don't care what y'all say. I don't care what y'all think of me. Whatever. All y'all people on Twitter, I see you. Even though there were minor stuff that I think they could have changed, they're so minor that I don't like that. So minor that I don't care. 10 out of 10. Whatever. And that's it. That is Power Rangers Cosmic Fury. I highly recommend it. Even if you're a little curious, just go watch it. It's 10 episodes. It's not that much. Thank you all so much, everyone, for watching. Please subscribe if you haven't. Follow us on all of our social media down in the description below. We also have a Discord, so make sure to flex your toys, collectibles, and let's talk about Cosmic Fury. And I'm going to end it off by saying Link to Morphin Grid is a good morph call. It is.